Hi, I'm Judson Van Wyk. I'm the Director of College Ministry at Church of the Redeemer.
And I'm Lena Van Wyk, and I founded the farm ministry here at Redeemer. And we have two little girls, Lily, who's 2, and Junia, who's 11 months. And we're going to tell you a little bit of our testimony of God's glory and His working through His church in the life of our littlest girl, Junia, and in our long medical journey through her pregnancy and birth.
So last October, we went in for our routine 19-week ultrasound and received the incredibly hard news that our little girl had a pretty severe medical condition called spina bifida. It's essentially an opening in the spinal column that didn't fuse together that has to be surgically closed. And they told us that one way to receive the surgery that has better outcomes that they recommended was to actually pursue this surgery for Junia in utero while she was still in the womb.
So we prayed for the Lord's guidance in discerning about the surgery, and one of the miracles from the very beginning is that He sent us Dr. Ryan Antiel, who is a pediatric surgeon at Duke, also a fellow Anglican and goes to All Saints. And he knew a lot about not only the ethics of fetal surgery from a Christian perspective, but he had been on the fetal surgery team that did these surgeries at one of the founding institutions, CHOP in Philadelphia. And so he helped us discern that this surgery was right for us and would be worth it for all the benefits it would give Junia in her life. And so we decided to do this. And he set us up with a team of surgeons that he really trusted in Minnesota. So we set out from Minnesota to the Children's Hospital in Minnesota to do this surgery. We only had a couple of weeks of discernment, and then we were heading off.
And so as we launched off, Redeemer just came around us. When people, our friends and brothers and sisters found out the news, they rallied around us in unbelievable ways, showered us in prayer, sent us meals, and commissioned us in prayer at a Sunday service right before we left and sent us out on the road.
Also, Redeemer friends and friends throughout our lives, believers and non-believers, financially donated to us because we anticipated really large medical bills, and that has financially carried us through this year and beyond in ways that is more of a blessing than we can even name.
We actually hit our GoFundMe goal that we were trying to raise to cover these expenses the night before we left for Minnesota, which was pretty wild.
Every step of the way, it felt like the Lord had appointed people. In Indiana, on the first night, we stayed with Sarah and Jason Dickey, our good friends from Redeemer, who had moved to Indiana to start a farm. And they just prayed for us and sent us out from their farm to the second half of our journey to Minnesota. And then we were received, once arriving in Minneapolis, by the Church of the Cross, our sister Anglican Church. And they hosted us for a week, Molly and Christian Ruck, at their home, and prayed for us in the week before surgery. And also their whole church in their service prayed for us going into surgery.
And so November 15th, we went into Minnesota Children's Hospital, and Lena and Junia underwent the surgery to fix Junia's spine. And that was an absolutely surreal and terrifying day in so many ways. After they went in, I was sitting there in the hospital room alone for 5 hours, praying and waiting and sort of an anxious wreck. But even there, we felt unbelievably surrounded by our Redeemer and church community. I had a stack of note cards from friends at Redeemer of prayers and encouragements and scriptures that I just read through again and again and again to just calm my heart. Received encouraging text messages during that time, and Jenny Noyes texted me. She's the director of New Wineskin's Missionary Network, and she asked if we had any very specific prayer requests during the surgery. Well, I just heard from one of the nurses that the surgeon was about to make a big decision about which direction to take the surgery. There's a couple different ways they can do it. And so I asked Jenny, have folks pray for this decision. Help him to make a wise decision that's free of ego, that is just the right thing to do for Lena and our baby. Fast forward a couple hours, and the surgeon comes into the room and tells me the surgery was successful and it went well, and that Lena and Junia were safe and healthy and recovering, and they did all that they needed to do, and that they felt really good about it. And that was just an unbelievable weight off, because there were plenty of risks and things that could have gone wrong. But then he told me that partway through the surgery, they had to make a big decision, and he had felt, as he described it, a presence in the room that was more than he could describe, that felt like he was being led and guided to make the decision that he needed to make. And he literally used the words, "and to set aside my own ego in order to do the right thing in the surgery." Exactly what we had asked this prayer team to pray for. And so that was just one of many unbelievably miraculous ways that God answered our prayers and listened to the prayers of the church.